Hi everyone, I'm making this video to talk about having a plan for your prescription pain medications. There are several things that I've learned since I've started being in chronic pain in 2006. I want to share them with you in this video. I want to begin talking about being transparent with your symptoms. It's extremely important that you're able to trust the doctor who prescribes your prescription medication. The reason it's important is so that they're able to effectively and accurately prescribe what is needed to keep your pain controlled. The catch with chronic pain is that it's a conversation and an effort that's not done in just one appointment. You need to buy into the process if your pain is to be adequately controlled. Going to the doctor just once, like maybe you would to get wax out of your ear, doesn't work when you're in chronic pain. It's a situation where the prescribing physician is going to give you homework, and you're going to need to be invested in the process and not just go to your family doctor or whichever doctor it is that prescribes the medication to just solve this for you. It's going to require teamwork and trust of the doctor. So in my own situation, I initially trusted the doctor because that was his job. After about 8 appointments, I began to trust him for myself and not because of his education. And I don't find it easy trusting people. Being in chronic pain takes up a lot of emotional stamina from me. It's not easy for me to trust someone. I did get that trust in my family doctor after about 3 to 4 months worth of appointments. So it's something that I want to ask you to work on so you feel comfortable when you're talking about what's going on in your body. It's important that you think through how it feels and if there's any particular symptoms, such as walking, that make the pain much worse. I would bring with you a chart of symptoms and where it hurts and how intense the pain is, but I would not make piles and piles of notes. If you're bringing notes to your doctor of what to talk about, try to keep it under 1 page in point form so that it's an effective place for the conversation to begin. I've done this several times with my doctor, and it has helped me a whole lot get the help that I need. So you need to find a way that you can trust your doctor with your symptoms. You know, when I first started going to my doctor during that first 3 to 4 month time period, I initially asked him a few questions about his own life, and that really helped me to trust him. I don't know what's going to be needed for you. It's something for you to think about and to follow through with doing. My next point is that chronic pain requires an ongoing dialogue. Now, this is especially true in my situation where there is still treatment that I'm going through and that the pain may change, as well as the pain that's created by doing physiotherapy. For your pain, you need to be able to articulate to your doctor if it suddenly gets worse or if you think it's starting to improve. It's not just a 1 day or 2 appointment discussion that you might have, like cleaning wax out of an ear. Chronic pain becomes a lifestyle. The more you're willing to put into it, the better your quality of life is going to be. And it's that dialogue with the prescribing physician that your quality of life hinges on when you're dealing with chronic pain. If it's not working to trust the doctor after several appointments, I would be very direct with that doctor and say you're having a hard time trusting him or her and trying to work it out. And I do encourage you to be honest if you are having a hard time trusting the doctor. It might not be the right match for you. You need to be able to isolate not trusting a doctor with it taking a while to get your pain symptoms under control though. And there is a difference. You don't want a doctor to prescribe so much pain medication that you're going to die from a drug overdose. There's also an ethical responsibility that the doctor needs to fulfill, that you can't commit suicide off of the medication that you're given until you've shown a responsibility to have that much medication in your possession. So trust is very essential. If your trust is starting to break, I encourage you to bring it up before it becomes a big issue. And please take to heart what I've said about this. It's extremely important. Next, I want to encourage you to not worry about a drug addiction forming. If you've been honest about the pain that you're in and you're taking the medications as needed, as well as having a healthy dialogue with your pharmacist and the prescribing doctor, it's unlikely that you'll form a drug addiction. Drug addictions are more likely formed off of breakthrough pain medication. That is the spike of pain medication that very quickly enters your bloodstream and then just as quickly drops out of it. You could relate this to a hit of heroin or some other drugs that very fastly go into your body and then just as fast come out of you. Long-term, long-lasting medication is what's typically used for managing chronic pain, and it's least likely to form an addiction. So, long-lasting pain medication may come from wearing some type of a patch where the drug goes into your body by absorbing through the skin. There's also a number of 8 and 12-hour medications that you may use that the entrance into your bloodstream is slow but steady. It's the very rapid inclusion of medication that gives you a high that you're more likely to become addicted to. So let me say it to you this way. If I was playing a game of baseball and I made a fantastic dive into third base but broke my arm doing it, I would want to get out of pain now because it's a new injury. So if you went to the hospital for help, they would give you some medication that has caffeine in it so it works immediately. For chronic pain, a different thought process is employed. The different thought process is staying ahead of the pain to avoid the need or limit the need for breakthrough pain medication. Your quality of life will actually be better if you're using long-term 8 to 12-hour medication. I do need to footnote this by saying that it depends on what is specifically wrong with your body, with how much a long-lasting pain medication you may use. Talk about this openly and honestly with the doctor that you get your prescriptions from if you're concerned about a drug addiction forming. If you're in chronic pain, it's very important that prescriptions come only from one doctor. It's in your favor to be monitored for the chronic pain by only one physician so that your pain gets controlled and that you're not going to be put at risk for either drug addiction or an overdose that could possibly kill you. If you're having a hard time trusting that one doctor, it's perfectly reasonable to move on once you've tried to work out a good system between you and the doctor of trust and also a patient-doctor relationship. But if it's really not working for you, then ask to be referred on to a different doctor. It's really in your favor for this. There are situations where doctors can be mandated to require you to sign a contract to only get prescriptions from that specific doctor. There are situations, though, where patients show initiative and the doctor has trust that they're not going to go around getting medication from someone else. So if you're in a situation of trust, then live out that trust for your family doctor. If you've been asked to sign a contract, it's so that you're getting the best health care possible. It's not to humiliate you or treat you as less of a person. If you had a drug addiction, let's say in your teen years, you want one doctor following you so that you're getting the care that you need. Doctors are told to be approachable if the patient screws up and to still be able to have a healthy, active dialogue with them. If you're someone who struggles with drugs but have found yourself in the situation of chronic pain, please be open and honest with it so your doctor can help you. And the more initiative that you show in your own life, the more the doctor wants to help you and is able to help you. There are people that are scared of going to the doctor, and they live with pain and just needlessly suffer. There's no need to needlessly suffer when you're in chronic pain. But it does rely on you saying that you need help and then following through with whatever plan you arrange and negotiate with your doctor. Just as important as only getting the prescriptions from one doctor is that you should only get prescriptions filled at one pharmacy. The prescriptions being filled only at one pharmacy is a safety net for you. They also have an ethical obligation to prevent you from having a drug addiction. As well, if you'll build up a rapport with the pharmacy, you can go to them for quick questions. The pharmacist is an important part of your health care team, and I would never underestimate the value of going to the pharmacist to ask a question. As well, you don't have to pay a pharmacist when you go to ask a simple question, and a pharmacist is readily available. It's just a matter of you either calling on the phone or going to the pharmacist drugstore to ask any question that you need answered. It's in your best interest to only use one pharmacy for your prescription pain medications. The next topic is finding out how to get the next prescription. When you start on prescription pain medication, you need to ask when your next follow-up appointment is going to be. How many days ahead of time do you need to contact the doctor's office before or so that you can get the next prescription? Is it expected that you'll make an appointment, or can the pharmacy contact your doctor's office to request a repeat? These are the questions that you need to be asking the prescribing physician. So I want to go over it once more. How many days ahead of time do you need to contact the doctor's office to get the next prescription? Are you expected to make an appointment, or is the pharmacy able to request the next repeat for you? Related to this is having a system to actually get the next prescription. So, are you able to go to the pharmacy? Are you going to be using the pharmacy delivery service? And if you are, you need to know the available times and where you're going to be, whether it's delivering at home or maybe to an office, but you need to know the delivery schedule so you can be available to receive it. Or are you going to send a friend to pick up the prescription? If you're going to send a friend, you need to contact the pharmacy to ask what system is required. You may need to write a note of permission to release the medication to a friend. It depends what the rules are where you locally live for this situation. I want to encourage you to keep a pain journal. So I went to my local dollar store and I purchased basically a notepad that has maybe 200 pages in it. Each time I take medication, I write it down. Paper doesn't have a bad memory. As well, when you're groggy, you need to know when you took the last pill so you're not causing yourself to overdose. I rely on this written system. You just as easily could be using a cell phone or a website for this purpose. Work out some system to record your pain medication usage so you're cognitive and aware when you're taking the next drug that you're not putting too much into your body at once. For chronic pain, you're going to be requiring ongoing prescriptions. So you need to be asking your doctor frequently when he'll be out of the office for holidays, vacation time, and any courses he or she is taking. It's very important you do this so you don't create chaos with your pain control. This is part of you owning your chronic pain and your doctor having confidence in you and your doctor having trust of you that you're doing your part in managing your pain. It certainly helps to plan ahead. You don't want to feel the full effects of your chronic pain, and chronic pain medication isn't something that you can just stop taking. You need to be weaned off of it. You need to ensure that you don't put yourself in the situation where you don't have the medication that you're needing. So a few questions of holidays, vacation time, and courses goes a long way into planning ahead for future prescriptions. Next, I want to encourage you to have a plan for if you accidentally take a pain medication twice. What are you going to do to get medical help immediately if you overdose accidentally? You should have the ambulance service on speed dial and be aware of what medical facilities are around in your community to go get help immediately if you accidentally take the medication twice. And maybe I should expand on that. If you intentionally take it twice, but if you're starting to feel stress building up in you, you need to speak up. Your doctor isn't there just to be writing prescriptions. There's also a mechanism for support, and it's important that you take care of your mental health while you're going through and experiencing chronic pain. But part of this is being vulnerable and saying that you're struggling and that you need the help. Periodically, a doctor will ask you, but if you're struggling, you need to speak up for yourself. I would like to encourage you not to reach the point where you're considering suicide over the pain. If the pain's bothering you that much, you need to go to your doctor to get help to get it under control. There's lots of options for pain medication, but it's a process that needs to be stuck with to work out what needs to be done. And then you need to have a system in place for the emotional part of this. So the example in my life I'll give you, part of it's making these videos. It helps me help you dealing with my ongoing chronic pain. I also enjoy nature photography. I place a high value on getting enough sleep so I can cope with the chronic pain that I live with. Part of me going to the pool for my physiotherapy brings me a lot of joy as I watch the children playing while I do my exercises. So you need to think about for yourself, what is it that's going to help you not want to commit suicide and keep your stress under control while you live with chronic pain. You know, music is an excellent outlet, so is drawing. So I want to encourage you to think through what it is that's needed. The pain medication is meant to be a means to an end. There is more of a life available than just suffering with pain, but you need to stick with it if you're going to get it under the best control that's possible for your specific body. I want to now talk about planning for your own vacations. I've talked about the doctor having a vacation. You should still be able to go on a vacation if it's something that you want to do. You need to plan ahead for how much medication that you'll need for how long you're gone. Like, do you need it released ahead of time so you have it with you when you leave? I also want to highlight that there are special lines at airports and some countries when you leave your country and go on to the next one, if you're bringing your own medication into that country. The general guidance that I have for you about this is to keep the pills in their original bottle that has your name and the medication name on it. And then I would plan ahead. If you're not sure of what to expect, contact the airport or the border services agency. Even your member of the elected government, maybe someone that could help you or their office could help you know what the protocol is when you leave the country and go into the next one with medication for chronic pain. What I was told was there's a limited amount that you may bring with you. I think it's a few months, and also that it's important that it's still in its original packaging. And then there's a special queue for when you're leaving your country and have this with you. Find out what is needed, plan ahead. As best as is possible, you should still be living your life even though you are experiencing chronic pain. The final area that I want to touch on is sexuality and chronic pain. Chronic pain medication may interfere with your ability to have sex, either physically if you're a man struggling to get an erection, or else not having the desire to engage in sexual intimacy. If your sex life is being robbed, have an honest and candid discussion with your doctor. It's the same thing if masturbation is something that you do and can no longer do but want to be able to. Have a discussion with your doctor about how and when and the times of day that will be best that you're able to do so. I'm not saying this to embarrass you. There are currently studies being done where masturbations is being evaluated as a technique for pain control. Okay, this is what I have to share with you today. I hope it has been of some help to you. Thank you for this time that you spent with me. Bye for now.